What if I told you that saving money doesn't have to mean saying no to everything you enjoy? Many people think that saving money means living a boring life, giving up coffee, canceling every vacation, and never buying anything fun again. But that's not true. The people who save money successfully aren't usually the ones who suffer the most. They're the ones who spend more intentionally. Hello everyone, I'm Clara, and welcome back. Today, we're going to learn how to save money without feeling deprived or unhappy. You'll discover practical habits that help you build your savings while still enjoying your life. At the same time, you'll improve your English through useful vocabulary, everyday expressions, and natural conversations about one of the most important life skills everyone should learn. Today, we'll explore 5 practical tips. Tip number 1, stop fighting your spending habits. Tip number 2, spend on what truly makes you happy. Tip number 3, make saving automatic. Tip number 4, avoid the traps that empty your wallet. Tip number 5, build a life where saving feels natural. By the end of this lesson, you'll know how to save money without feeling miserable, and you'll improve your English naturally through a practical daily life topic. Let's begin. Before we continue, I have something that might really help you. If you're enjoying these lessons but sometimes feel like you need more practice, more structure, or someone to guide you personally, I've created the complete English fluency system just for that. Inside, you'll find everything organized in one place: premium lessons, English books, worksheets, speaking practice, grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, and much more. No more jumping from one random video to another. And the best part? You're not learning alone. Whenever you have a question or need help, you can contact me directly. I'll be there to support you throughout your English journey. Whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced learner, this program will help you build real confidence and make consistent progress. If that sounds like what you've been looking for, you'll find the link in the description. Now, let's get back to today's lesson. Tip number 1, stop fighting your spending habits. Imagine you decide to save money starting tomorrow. You make a long list of rules. No coffee from cafes, no eating out, no online shopping, no movies, no vacations, no new clothes. For the first few days, you feel proud of yourself. You resist every temptation. You ignore every advertisement. You tell yourself, I'm going to save as much money as possible. But after 2 weeks, something happens. You're tired. You feel like you've been saying no to everything. Then one afternoon, you walk into a shopping mall just to look. An hour later, you leave carrying several shopping bags. Have you ever experienced something like that? Many people have. And here's the surprising truth. The problem wasn't your lack of discipline. The problem was your strategy. One of the biggest mistakes people make is treating saving money like a punishment. If every day feels like a sacrifice, it's only a matter of time before you give up. Here's a useful English expression: cut back on. Native speakers use this expression when they mean to reduce the amount of something instead of completely eliminating it. For example, I'm trying to cut back on eating out so I can save more money. Notice the difference. The expression doesn't mean stop completely, it means reduce. That's a much healthier approach. Imagine someone who loves coffee. They buy a $5 coffee every morning. Instead of deciding, I'll never buy coffee again, they decide, I'll buy coffee twice a week instead of 7 times. They're still enjoying something they love, but they're also saving money. That feels much more realistic. Psychologists often talk about something called willpower fatigue. Every decision you make uses a little mental energy. If you spend the entire day resisting temptation, eventually your willpower becomes weaker. That's why people often make impulsive purchases after stressful days. Their brains are tired. They're looking for something that feels rewarding. The solution isn't to become stronger. The solution is to make saving easier. Let's connect this to learning English. Imagine someone who studies English for 4 hours every day. After 2 weeks, they're exhausted. Now imagine another learner who studies for just 25 minutes every day. It's easier, more enjoyable, and because it's sustainable, they continue for years. Who do you think becomes fluent? Usually the second person. The same principle applies to money. Saving isn't about making the biggest sacrifice. It's about creating habits you can maintain for years. Here's another useful English expression. Live within your means. It means to spend less money than you earn instead of trying to impress other people. For example, even after getting a promotion, they continued living within their means and built impressive savings. That's one habit many financially successful people have in common. They don't buy everything they can afford. They buy what truly adds value to their lives. Everything else, they simply let go. Before we finish this lesson, here's a small challenge. Think about one thing you spend money on every week. Don't ask yourself, can I completely stop? Instead, ask, can I cut back just a little? Maybe instead of eating out 4 times, you eat out twice. Maybe instead of buying 3 new shirts, you buy 1. Small reductions often lead to big results over time. Because saving money shouldn't feel like you're giving up your happiness. It should feel like you're making smarter choices. And when your financial habits become enjoyable instead of painful, saving money stops feeling like a struggle. It simply becomes part of the way you live. Tip number 2, spend on what truly makes you happy. Imagine 2 friends who each receive an extra $100. The first friend immediately buys the newest phone accessories, trendy clothes, and a few things they saw on social media. For a few days, they're excited. But after a week, those purchases don't feel very special anymore. The second friend spends part of the money on a weekend trip with their family. They also buy a book they've wanted to read for months. Years later, they still smile when they remember that trip. The book is still sitting on their shelf, filled with notes and memories. Both people spent the same amount of money. So why does one feel happier than the other? The answer isn't how much they spent. It's how they spent it. Here's a useful English expression. Get your money's worth. Native speakers use this expression when they mean receiving good value for the money you spend. For example, that cooking course was expensive, but I definitely got my money's worth because I still use the recipes every week. Notice something interesting. Good spending isn't always about buying the cheapest option. Sometimes it's about buying the option that continues adding value long after you've paid for it. One of the biggest ideas in personal finance is this: spend generously on what truly improves your life, and spend carefully on everything else. Think about someone who loves fitness. Buying a good pair of running shoes might improve their health for years. For them, that's probably a wise purchase. Now imagine someone buying expensive designer shoes simply because everyone else has them. A month later, the excitement is gone. The shoes are just another pair sitting in the closet. Psychologists call this hedonic adaptation. It's the tendency for people to quickly become used to new possessions. That new phone, new watch, or new jacket feels exciting at first. But before long, it simply becomes normal. Then we start looking for the next thing to buy. It's a cycle that never really ends. Experiences, however, often work differently. A family vacation, learning a new skill, having dinner with close friends, reading a life-changing book. Those memories often become more valuable over time. Let's connect this to learning English. Imagine spending $50 on something you'll forget in 2 weeks. Now imagine spending the same amount on English books, an online course, or quality learning materials. One purchase disappears. The other helps you build a skill that could benefit you for the rest of your life. That's an investment. Here's another useful English expression. Think twice. It means to stop and carefully consider something before making a decision. For example, I always think twice before buying something I don't really need. That's a simple habit, but it's incredibly powerful. The next time you're about to make an impulse purchase, pause for just 1 minute. Ask yourself, will this still make me happy next month? Do I really need it? Would I rather save this money for something more meaningful? Sometimes you'll still decide to buy it, and that's perfectly fine. The goal isn't to stop spending. The goal is to spend intentionally. Before we finish this lesson, here's today's challenge. The next time you want to buy something that's not essential, don't buy it immediately. Wait 24 hours. If you still believe it's worth buying after 1 day, go ahead. But if the desire disappears, you've probably just saved yourself money without sacrificing anything important. Because financial freedom isn't created by saying no to everything. It's created by saying yes to the things that truly matter and politely saying no to the things that don't. That's how you save money without feeling miserable. Tip number 3, make saving automatic. Imagine 2 people who both want to save money. The first person tells themselves, at the end of the month, I'll save whatever money is left. Sounds reasonable, doesn't it? But when the end of the month arrives, they've paid the bills, gone out with friends, bought a few things online, ordered food several times, and somehow there's almost nothing left to save. Now imagine the second person. The day they receive their salary, 10% automatically moves into a savings account. They never have to think about it. They never have to make the decision every month. Saving simply happens. A year later, which person do you think has saved more? The answer is almost always the second one. Not because they earn more money, because they removed the need to rely on willpower. Here's a useful English expression. Pay yourself first. Native speakers use this expression when they mean saving money before spending it on anything else. For example, the best financial advice I ever received was to pay myself first every payday. It may sound strange at first. Most people pay everyone else first. The landlord, the supermarket, the electricity company, the internet provider. Then, if anything remains, they save it. But financially successful people often reverse that order. They save first, then learn to live on the rest. At first, it feels difficult, but after a few months, it begins to feel completely normal. Psychologists explain this with something called habit formation. The fewer decisions you have to make, the more likely you are to stay consistent. Think about brushing your teeth. Do you wake up every morning and debate whether you should do it? Probably not. You simply do it. It's become automatic. Saving money can become just as automatic. Imagine setting up an automatic bank transfer. Every month, the moment your salary arrives, a small amount moves directly into your savings account. You don't have to remember. You don't have to rely on motivation. The system does the work for you. Let's connect this to learning English. Many learners say, I'll practice English when I have free time. Unfortunately, free time rarely appears by itself. Now imagine someone who studies English every morning at 7 o'clock for 20 minutes. They don't ask themselves whether they feel motivated. It's simply part of their routine. Months later, they've made incredible progress. The same principle works with money. Consistency beats intensity. Saving a small amount every month is usually much more effective than trying to save a huge amount once or twice a year. Here's another useful English expression: rainy day fund. It means money you've saved for unexpected emergencies or difficult times. For example, when my car suddenly broke down, my rainy day fund covered the repair costs. Life is unpredictable. The washing machine breaks. The car needs repairs. A medical bill appears. Unexpected expenses are part of life. The goal of saving isn't to expect bad things. It's to be prepared when they happen. Imagine how different those situations feel when you already have money set aside. Instead of panic, you feel prepared. Instead of borrowing money, you solve the problem calmly. That's one of the greatest benefits of saving. It doesn't just protect your finances, it protects your peace of mind. Before we finish this lesson, here's today's challenge. Choose one amount. It doesn't have to be large. Maybe $5, maybe $20, maybe $50. The exact number isn't important. What's important is making it automatic. Set up a recurring transfer the day your income arrives, then leave it alone. You may hardly notice the money disappearing each month, but 1 year from now, you'll definitely notice the savings you've built. Because financial freedom rarely comes from one huge decision. It comes from hundreds of small decisions made automatically month after month. And sometimes, the smartest financial habit is the one you no longer have to think about. Tip number 4. Avoid the traps that empty your wallet. Imagine you're sitting on your sofa after a long day at work. You open your favorite shopping app. You're not looking for anything in particular, you're just browsing. A few minutes later, you see a message. 50% off, today only. Then another one. Only 3 items left. And finally, don't miss this amazing deal. Suddenly, you feel like you have to buy something. Not because you need it, because you're afraid of missing the opportunity. Have you ever experienced that? If so, you're not alone. Companies spend billions of dollars every year learning how to influence our buying decisions. Their goal isn't simply to sell products. Their goal is to make you feel like buying is urgent. Here's a useful English expression: impulse buying. Native speakers use this expression when they mean buying something suddenly without planning or really needing it. For example, most of my unnecessary purchases happened because of impulse buying. Impulse buying is one of the biggest reasons people struggle to save money. The interesting part is that we rarely regret the things we carefully planned to buy. We usually regret the things we bought in the heat of the moment. Psychologists explain this using the idea of instant gratification. Our brains naturally enjoy immediate rewards. Buying something new gives us a quick burst of excitement. For a few minutes, or maybe a few days, we feel happy. But that feeling usually fades much faster than we expect. Meanwhile, the money is gone. Think about how often advertisements create a sense of urgency. Limited time offer, only today, last chance. Sometimes those offers are genuine, but very often they're designed to make you stop thinking and start buying. That's why slowing down can save you hundreds or even thousands of dollars over time. Here's another useful English expression: sleep on it. It means to wait before making an important decision instead of acting immediately. For example, the laptop looked great, but I decided to sleep on it before buying it. That's a surprisingly powerful habit. When you give yourself time, your emotions become quieter. Your thinking becomes clearer. You stop asking, "Do I want this right now?" and start asking, "Will I still be happy with this purchase next month?" Let's connect this to learning English. Imagine you're learning 10 new words. If you only see them once, you'll probably forget most of them. But if you review them the next day, and again a week later, they're much more likely to stay in your memory. Good decisions work in a similar way. Time gives your brain the chance to think more carefully instead of reacting emotionally. Another common money trap is comparing yourself to other people. A friend buys a new car. Someone on social media travels to another country. Another person shows off an expensive watch. Without realizing it, you begin thinking, maybe I need those things too. But here's an important truth. You rarely see the full picture. You don't know how much debt someone has. You don't know how much stress they're carrying. And you certainly don't know what's happening behind the photos they post online. Here's another useful English expression. Keep up with the Joneses. It means trying to match other people's lifestyle or possessions, even when it's unnecessary or unaffordable. For example, they got into financial trouble because they were always trying to keep up with the Joneses. One of the smartest financial decisions you can make is this. Stop comparing your life to someone else's highlight reel. Compare yourself only to the person you were yesterday. Before we finish this lesson, here's today's challenge. The next time you see something you want to buy, pause for a moment. Ask yourself these 3 questions. Do I need it? Or do I simply want it right now? Would I still buy it if it weren't on sale? Will this purchase bring me happiness next month or only today? Those 3 questions can protect you from countless unnecessary purchases. Because saving money isn't about resisting every temptation. It's about learning to recognize the difference between a smart purchase and a clever advertisement. And once you understand that difference, your wallet will thank you. Tip number 5. Build a life where saving feels natural. Imagine 2 people 10 years from now. The first person has a higher salary than ever before. They've received promotions. They earn much more than they did years ago. But somehow, they're still living paycheck to paycheck. Every time their income increased, their spending increased too. A bigger apartment, a newer car, more expensive clothes, more subscriptions, more luxury. No matter how much they earned, they never seemed to have enough. Now imagine the second person. Their salary also increased over the years. But instead of spending every extra dollar, they saved part of it. They invested some. They continued living comfortably without constantly upgrading their lifestyle. After 10 years, they have financial security. Not because they were lucky, not because they were born rich, but because they built habits that lasted. Here's a useful English expression. Live below your means. Native speakers use this expression when they mean spending less money than you earn, even when you can afford to spend more. For example, even after starting a successful business, she continued to live below her means and became financially independent. This doesn't mean living a miserable life. It doesn't mean refusing to enjoy your money. It simply means not allowing your lifestyle to grow faster than your income. One of the biggest financial traps is something called lifestyle inflation. Imagine you receive a salary increase. Instead of saving the extra money, you immediately buy a more expensive phone, a more expensive car, a more expensive house. Soon, your monthly expenses become higher than ever. The strange part is that many people earning twice as much as they did 5 years ago still feel like they have no money. Not because they don't earn enough, because every raise disappeared into a more expensive lifestyle. Real financial freedom isn't about earning the most. It's about keeping enough of what you earn. Let's connect this to learning English. Imagine 2 students. The first studies English only when they're excited. The second studies a little every day, even when they don't feel motivated. 5 years later, the second student is almost always the one speaking English confidently. Why? Because long-term success is built on habits, not temporary excitement. Money works exactly the same way. Small financial habits repeated over many years often matter more than occasional big decisions. Here's another useful English expression. Think long-term. It means making decisions today that will benefit you in the future, instead of focusing only on immediate rewards. For example, instead of buying a new phone every year, he decided to think long-term and save for his future. That's one of the biggest differences between spending and investing. Spending asks, what will make me happy today? Thinking long-term asks, what will improve my life 5 years from now? Both questions matter. The goal isn't to eliminate enjoyment from your life. The goal is to balance today's happiness with tomorrow's security. Before we finish today's episode, I'd like to leave you with one final reflection. Imagine your future self meeting you 10 years from now. They smile and say, "Thank you." You ask, "For what?" They answer, "For every small decision you made when nobody was watching. For skipping the purchases you didn't really need. For saving a little instead of spending everything. For giving me peace of mind instead of unnecessary stress." That future version of you isn't grateful because you became rich overnight. They're grateful because you made hundreds of wise decisions, one after another. Remember, saving money isn't about living with less joy. It's about creating more freedom. Freedom to handle emergencies without panic. Freedom to travel when opportunities appear. Freedom to help your family. Freedom to follow your dreams without constantly worrying about money. Because at the end of the day, money itself isn't the goal. The goal is the freedom, the peace, and the opportunities that wise financial habits can create. So enjoy your life. Spend on the things that truly matter. Save consistently. Think long-term. And remember, the richest life isn't always the one with the biggest income. It's often the one where your money quietly supports the life you genuinely want to live.